So I pray for Moses Camacho at Saddleback Church, close to Newport, Mesa. He's the pastor there, as I mentioned, and I've known him for a little while. Actually, I don't know him really personally as a friend or anything. I know who he is as a pastor, and he knows me just by sight, but we don't really have a kinship or a friendship or an association with each other. Problem is that too many pastors. He's a nice guy. I mean, I want to say this in a delicate way because I'm speaking to pastors in general. He's a decent guy, Moses is. But too many pastors, from their pulpit, gain a feeling of superiority over their parishioners. I had the same experience at the Saddleback in Anaheim by Angel Stadium. That young man pastor as well. I think they're simultaneously feeling inferior, but at the same time they know they have to maintain superiority, or at least power and control over their parishioners to a certain extent. And that's the problem I've been thinking of lately is what happens when you as a parishioner becomes spiritually superior to your pastor or to the pastor. I don't say that's not my regular church. I don't have a regular church. Well, I do have a regular church. I could call it the Body of Christ, and it's churches all over the world, and mostly around Southern California, but wherever I happen to be, that's the Body of Christ, and that's the church. That's my church. That's the way it's really supposed to be. And a lot of pastors don't like that because they want regular members who regularly support their particular congregation, their local church on the corner of Main and Maple. Only problem is that that's really not true to the nature of what the Body of Christ is, the Body of Christ Church, and why we recite the Nicene Creed. Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant. And that is one problem with some of these so-called mega churches, independent churches with a really charismatic leader. They might have that creed in their book. I know Saddleback is Southern Baptist. They should be citing the Nicene Creed. You don't see it very often. I don't think I've ever recited it actually while at a Saddleback service, although it should be in the Southern Baptists. I think they do, they do agree to the Nicene Creed. So we should be reciting it more often. But some churches don't. I don't think Calvary Chapel recites the Nicene Creed. They're very anti-Catholic for that matter. But this is about Moses Camacho right now. I'm just saying I want to reach out to him and say, don't worry, don't be intimidated by me. I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm trying to be a good person in the pews, not disrupting the service. I don't bother you or anybody. I put a little bit of money in the collection box from time to time, and I pray for you, and I ask others to pray for you and all the other pastors at Saddleback, Rick Warren and all the others. And God be with you and bless you, and just keep the faith, keep the confidence. We're all helping out. We're all part of the Body of Christ. You're doing a good job. Just keep it up. I know one thing, one problem I see for the pastors at these satellites, is that they don't have enough to do on Sundays. I'm sure they're busy in the background doing a lot of things, but the problem is that the actual sermon is preached by video every week. So I know it must be a little bit hard for the satellite pastor not having enough time in the pulpit. I know pastors really enjoy that time in the pulpit. They need it. A lot of them really need it. I am a pastor too, by the way, and an evangelist, and I get my pulpit time out on the street doing street ministry. So you got to find your pulpit in other places sometimes if you don't have one in the actual church itself. And so I think that's why I'm feeling a little bit of that passive aggressiveness from some of the satellite pastors at the different Saddlebacks. They feel underappreciated, and at the same time probably feeling a little bit like they're taking a paycheck without doing enough on Sunday mornings in front. That's another reason why pastors like to be in front of the congregation. They like to make sure the congregation appreciates them and knows that they're there and what they're doing. But you just got to accept it by faith. You're doing what you're doing. You're doing what you've been assigned to do, and that's all you have to do right now. But I would recommend that you find another outlet for your ministry as well, doing either street ministry or whatever it may be, your own blog or YouTube even, if that's allowed. Maybe they have a contract that you're not allowed to do your own ministry on the side. I'm not sure. That would be a shame if that's the case. But if it gets too much pressure on you that way in that regard, if you're truly called to be a preacher and do ministry, you have to branch out on your own. You have to have that courage to say, well, I'll have to go on my own if that's what you're called to do. So hear our prayer, Moses, and all your family. You're doing a good job. I can tell that you're a pretty good guy, and keep the faith. Lord bless you.